Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, Context is Everything Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is reading a textbook, cover to cover. And today, we're actually starting a new chapter. Today's chapter is Industrial Revolution Begins. This is going to be from 1750 to 1850, and it looks like it's going to be in the Great Britain region. But we're going to also say Ireland, because the Irish don't like, from the Republic of Ireland, and many from the Northern Ireland, don't like to be considered part of Britain. So, England and Ireland. Industrial Revolution 1750 to 1850, Section 1. This is going to be a quick video. Dawn of the Industrial Age. Yeah, we talked about France in last chapter, so you can see a link to how we wrapped that up, Napoleon and his brother, Joe. Dawn of the Industrial Age. Setting the scene. For thousands of years following the rise of civilization, most people lived and worked in small farming villages. However, a chain of events set in motion in the mid-1700s changed the way of life for all time. Similar to a recent news story right out of the Netherlands that just occurred actually here in May of 2023. Stay tuned to hear about it. This is actually world-changing news, life-changing news. Stay tuned till the end, and you'll hear about it. Out of Dutchland, out of the Netherlands, and I swear I'm not joking. Stick around, like, and subscribe. The Industrial Revolution started in Britain. In contrast with most of the political revolutions, it was neither sudden nor swift. Instead, it was long. Slow, uneven process in which production shifted from simple hand tools to complex machines. New sources of power replaced human and animal power. In the 250 years since it began, the Industrial Revolution has spread from Britain to the rest of Europe, to North America, and around the globe. A turning point in history. Where's my sunglasses? New heading. In 1750, most people worked the land using handmade tools. They lived in simple cottages lit by firelight and candles. They made their own clothes and grew their own food. In nearby towns, they might exchange goods at a weekly outdoor market. Like their ancestors, these people knew little of the world that existed beyond their villages. The few who left home traveled only as far as their feet or their horse-drawn cart could take them. Those bold adventurers who dared to cross the sea were at the mercy of the winds and the tides. With the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the rural way of life began to disappear. By the 1850s, many country villages had grown into industrial towns and cities. Their inhabitants bought food and clothing in stores that offered a large variety of machine-made goods. Their homes were crowded, multi-story apartment buildings. Their homes were crowded, multi-story apartment buildings. Industrial age travelers moved rapidly between countries and continents by train or steamship. Urgent messages flew along telegraph wires. New innovations in scientific firsts used and poured out each year. New scientific firsts poured out each year. Stay tuned for a new scientific first out of the Netherlands of May 2023. Stick around till the end. Between 1830 and 1855, for example, an American dentist first used an anesthetic or drug that prevents pain during surgery. An American inventor patented the first sewing machine. A French physicist measured the speed of light, and a Hungarian doctor introduced the antiseptic method to reduce the risk of a woman dying in childbirth. Still more stunning changes occurred. In the next century, creating our familiar world of skyscraper cities and carefully tended suburbs. How and why did these great changes occur? Historians point to a series of interrelated causes that helped trigger industrialization of the West. A new agricultural revolution. New heading, hence the sunglasses. Oddly enough, the Industrial Revolution was made possible by a part change in the farming fields of Western Europe. The first agricultural revolution took place some 11,000 years ago, when people learned to farm and domesticate animals. About 300 years ago, a second agricultural revolution took place. It greatly improved the quality and quantity of farm products, improved methods of farming. The Dutch led the way in the new agricultural revolution. They built earthen walls, known as dikes, to reclaim land from the sea. They combined smaller fields into larger ones to make better use of the lands and used fertilizer from livestock to renew the soil. In the 1700s, British farmers expanded on Dutch experiments. Some farmers mixed different kinds of soil to get higher crop yields. Well, isn't that smart? Others tried out new methods of crop rotation. Lord Charles Townshend urged farmers to grow turnips, which restored exhausted soil. Jethro Tull invented a new mechanical device to seed drill to aid farmers. It deposited seeds in rows rather than in scattering them wastefully over the land. Jethro Tull, I thought that was the name of a band. Guess not. Educated farmers exchanged new experiments through farm journals. King George III himself, nicknamed Farmer George, wrote articles about this model of farming near Windsor Castle. King George III, the losing king in the American Revolution, English king at the time. Enclosure movement. Meanwhile, rich landowners pushed ahead with enclosure, the process of taking over and fencing off land formerly shared by peasant farmers. In the 1500s, they had enclosed land to gain pastures for sheep and increase wool output. By the 1700s, they wanted to create large fields that could be cultivated more effectively. And as millions of acres were enclosed, farm outputs rose. Profits also rose because large fields needed fewer workers. But such progress had a human cost. Many farm laborers were thrown out of work, and small farmers were forced off their lands because they could not compete with larger landowners. Villages shrank as cottagers left in search of work. In time, jobless farm workers migrated to towns and cities. There, they formed a growing labor force that would tend the machines of the Industrial Revolution. That's kind of like whatever. Population explosion. And remember, there's a new industrial thing that just came out in real time today. I read about it, but it's an article from less than a week ago, May 2023. Just like 3 more minutes and then you'll hear about it. Stick around. Subscribe. Like. If you like the sunglasses. See, I can even have peripheral yellow. Population explosion. The agricultural revolution contributed to a rapid growth of population that continues today. Oh. Precise population statistics for the 1700s are rare, but those that do exist are striking. Britain's population, for example, soared from about 5 million to 1700, about 5 million in 1700 to almost 9 million in 1800. The population of Europe as a whole shot up from roughly 120 million to 190 million during the same period, 1700 to 1800. Such growth had never been seen before. The population boom of the 1700s was due more to the declining death rates than the rising birth rates. The agricultural revolution reduced the risk of famine because they ate better. Women were healthier and had stronger babies. In the 1800s, better hygiene and sanitation along with improved medical care further slowed deaths from disease. New technology. Talking about new technology, something just came down the pipeline in the Netherlands. There's a gentleman whose last name is Porter, if you want to look it up. Last name is Porter. 12 years ago, he was in a bicycle accident, paralyzed from the legs down. Today, he walks again, thanks to electrode cluster in his motor neuron, I forget, part of his brain that's responsible for movement, and also beneath the break in his spine. Beneath the part that was severed in his spine, there's another electron cluster. So you have one in the brain and one beneath the break in the spine. This is creating a connection, and through rehabilitation, he's gaining back the ability to walk. So now he's back on 2 feet with a walker, but he's not seated in a wheelchair anymore. This is a massive breakthrough and something that is occurring currently, today. New technology. A third factor that helped trigger the Industrial Revolution was the development of new technology. New sources of energy, along with new materials, enabled business owners to change the ways work was done. An energy revolution. From the beginning of human history, the energy for work was provided mostly by the muscles of humans and animals. In time, water mills and windmills were added to muscle power. During the 1700s, people began to harness new sources of energy. One vital power source was coal, used to develop the steam engine. In 1712, inventor Thomas Newcomen had developed a steam engine powered by coal to pump water out of the mines. About 1769, Scottish engineer James Watt improved Newcomen's engine. Watt's engine would become a key power source of the Industrial Revolution. Improved iron. Coal was a vital source of fuel in the production of iron, a material needed for construction of machines and steam engines. The Derby family of Coal-Brookdale pioneered new methods of producing iron. In 1709, Abraham Darby used coal to smelt iron, or separate iron from its ore. When he discovered that coal gave off impurities that damaged the iron, Darby found a way to remove the impurities from coal. Darby's experiments led him to produce better quality and less expensive iron, and his son and grandson continued to improve on his methods. In the decades that followed, high-quality iron was used more and more widely, especially after the world turned to building railroads. Now, Industrial Revolution then, Industrial Revolution now. Paralysis. Porter, Netherlands. CBS News. Good night. God bless.